epic. Let's give a bit of time to let people join. I think this could be a potentially interesting thing to do. You know, generally I would do one of these types of, I don't know, recordings as a recording, not a live. However, I think this is more fun to do when I can actually just like see what other people have to say about potential drops. There are quite a few. Alright, cool, that works. Epic, epic, epic. Guess I could even get the link right here. Oh, don't you dare play. That should work, right? I sure hope it does. I think something important to keep in mind for all those that are watching this like post live when it gets uploaded, which for some reason takes a really long time to upload, but I would think that it could like go up very easily if it's just, you know, a stream. I don't know. Something to keep in mind though is that everything I'm saying is obviously just conjecture, and there's no actual way to know what the RU ladder wants to give us. You know, they could have 12 D rank Pokemon if they wanted, and for all I know, we'd get nothing. Which is kind of one of those things where you never know for sure how the ladder's gonna work. I think we could like look back at previous generations of NU, really any tier, and see plenty of Pokemon that should have dropped, but never quite did. I think last gen it's really easy to point out a few if we want to stay NU related, so like Hitmontop. It didn't have a niche in the tier. It still stayed forever. Mesprit, it wasn't good. Yet one user managed to spam it and get it to actually rise from PU into NU. It should not have been in NU. What else? We had like 4 D ranks, I think. Maybe we had more. It's hard to remember them all, because for some reason there were just several unviables. Oh, Typhlosion, that was another. That was a weird one too, because it just randomly started getting like nearly double-digit percentage usage, which is very, very strange. Did not understand that one. My kilobit per second is lower than the recommended bitrate. Right, that's what that's saying? Yep, the stream. I don't know what bitrate means, so we're just gonna ignore that. How y'all doing today though? Want to give a little bit more time in case people notice that this is live. Yeah, I sure hope that Colossal drops. I don't think it'd be any good, but I mean it'd be a Ninjask check, and I know people want more of those, so we may as well get one. What stuff will drop? Your guess is as good as mine, but we're gonna give some talk about what might drops are tomorrow, and so I think it'd be kind of cool to just see, what might we get? Because at this point you can at least... Now I haven't played RU, so I don't know for sure. I also don't know how up to date their viability ranking thread is, so I'm mostly going to be going off of this and just what I've heard around the mill, you know? Yeah. Let's start way at the bottom. I've heard Comfy has a really good chance of dropping, mostly because it's horrible. My only fear about Comfy dropping isn't, like, it doesn't have anything to do with it being an NU, it's mostly just, I've heard that the low ladder of RU loves Comfy, because it's one of those Pokemon that's just, if you're new to the game, you see what it does on paper, and you just go instantly, oh yeah, that's great. Because, you know, it's got priority off of a healing move that does damage, and it can set up, and it has the move Stored Power, which is, you know, the late epic funny meme move. And so there's just like that combination that makes people that might not understand the tier super well, it'll still get a whole bunch of usage. It doesn't matter this is hard walled by steals, and how many like really good steel types does RU have? Hell, there's even Galarian Slowbro in this tier, which I think just, I don't think it runs Shell Sidearm, but if it wanted to, it could. Okay, they've got the keys, which probably can't do anything to Comfy, but I imagine you can at least, like, Toxic it. They have Zonger, they've got Raj. They've got, I mean, this isn't a steal, but Gigalith under Sand. I don't know if it has Heavy Slam, it could, like, mess it up. There's Steelix, that's a good Pokemon. Yeah, I've got a few really good Steel types. And so, in theory, there's no reason to use this Pokemon. But at the end of the day, I still think it has enough, like, weird little things that people just use it for. If it were to come to Inu, though, I think it'd be pretty... How would I say it fair in Inu? Like, obviously we're gonna get more drops. Like, I can only look at each Pokemon in terms of if it were the only drop, and we got nothing that rose out of the tier, right? But honestly, like, Comfy and current Inu, would it be about the same as it is in Ryu? Because the difference is for Inu, our Steel types suck, bro. They suck. So, like, let's look at what we have in terms of Steel types, right? So there's Pharaoh Seed, which would wall it till, you know, Hell freezes over. So forever. Duraludon, you don't count. And then somehow you manage to lose to another Pokemon. There's Magneton, which probably couldn't do anything to Comfy. I guess Fire types wall it as well. So you'd have, like, Ninetales could set up versus it and try to do something. Like, they wall it until it gets too many Calm Minds. Yeah, Helmet Wheezing could be at least a little annoying until you get Stored Powered to death. Rapidash, you'd be able to at least, like, switch in once. Maybe even as it Calm Minds and you get off the Toxic. Alolan Sandslash, obviously, you just Iron Head it down. So Valley Steel, you multi-attack it down. Are we just forgetting Stored Power as a Psychic move, by the way? We are referencing far too many Poison types. We are referencing far too many Poison types for my liking. Gallerfisk. Does that even beat Comfy? I don't know if you do enough damage. I guess you can yawn it, but like... Huh. And of course, like, Togedemaru, which is not really a Pokemon right now. I don't know, I think Comfy would be better. There's also more Pokemon that, like, can Revenge Kill down here, like Gallade, Sock, which... I have seen far too much Sock get used in Snake, it's really weird. Sneasel, you can Revenge Kill that. Ninjask, I mean, yeah, you could Revenge Kill that, I guess. But you need some chip on that. I think Comfy would definitely be better down here than it is in Ari, but the big difference for Comfy between this generation and last, the removal of Hidden Power sucks, man. Like, no longer are you going to be able to get that, like, good chip off against something like, say, a Silvally Steel. Because you used to be able to, you know, hit, even like, you know, hit the Garbodors, the Steelixes, all those good switch-ins to Comfy, you could just, like, Hidden Power ground them. Or Hidden Power Fire in certain cases, if it was, like, Pharaoh Seed. And that was a big way of how Comfy could enable sweeps for itself, but it just can't do that now. Yeah, I think if they had given it literally any other move than Stored Power, it'd be a lot better off. Like, Earth Power would have made sense. I think it makes sense thematically as well. Let me make sure y'all understand this. I do not mind Comfy being significantly easier to play against. And at least it kind of kept Hidden Power Psychic. Because after a Calm Mind, Stored Power is at the same level as Hidden Power Psychic from last gen. And that at least still lets you hit Poison types. And I do know a lot of Comfy did like to run HP Psychic last gen. It's just not being able to force damage on your checks as easily when they first switch in is the big issue. Yeah, I agree, Caleb. I think it would be really nice for the revenge killing utility. And I think you can argue that the tier as is kind of doesn't love trying to deal with Sneasel and Gallade offensively. I guess it's like, what, Rabombi and Whimsicott and Ninjask. And then nothing else. So Comfy's cool. Because Comfy also does bring a little bit of, like, defensive purpose. I could imagine people saying fuck trying to run offensive sets and doing the, like, defensive Comfy that you occasionally saw last gen. I think it was people like, what, Yeezy Nose, I think I remember him running, like, it was U-Turn, Dazzling Gleam, Synthesis, Defog with Natural Cure or something. with a helmet, and it was a good way to chip away at stuff like Incineroar, Passimian. Specs Comfy. Yeah, you could run like Trick, U-Turn, Draining Kiss, Giga. That doesn't sound horrible. Yeah, but at the end of the day, Comfy's at least a little bulkier and has priority. So there's at least, you could try to justify it that way. I do agree that there's 1000% better fairies. I think B is just so much stronger. Offers literally the same utility. But could also deal with potential checks a little bit better just because of having Psychic. So you at least hit the poison types. Who else? So... Oh, let's talk about Snorlax. The fact that this could be an NU is kind of just hilarious. I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. Like, look at these stats, dude. Look at this. Why is this dropping to NU? Maybe. Still don't know for sure, but why is this, like, a potential drop? I don't want it. I don't know, though. Like, y'all say it might get quick banned, but it definitely is a Ninetales check. Some people don't think it'll get quick banned. Like, among council, I've heard some people voice opinions. Now, this was, like, earlier in the month, and obviously it's just guesswork. But, like... It's hard to say just how good it would be until we get it. But, like, curse sets sound very scary. Especially because you have Darkest Lariat, so Kofa can't even try to just match you with Iron Defense. Because you just ignore the boosts and say goodbye. And it's already supernaturally bulky on the special side. And so then you fix up this, you know, kind of lacking physical bulk with a few curses. And, like, what's actually taking you out? Now, I do think this Pokemon also would offer some nice, like, defensive stuff. Again, just like a blanket special wall. Gives another check to stuff like Rabombi, Whimsicott. You probably check Duraludon, at least somewhat. Obviously, you wall the special attacking ice types. I don't think you check Sneasel. I feel like Low Kick probably blasts you back really hard. And that doesn't sound very fun. I don't think people want to get low kicked as they try to check it. Obviously, like I said, walls the fire types, so that's cool. Yeah, as of now, it definitely looks like it'd be a very hard Pokemon to actually take out. Because we only have 2 fighting types. And that's Gallade and Ensok. And in terms of, like, rogue fighting coverage, we don't really have that much. It's like Focus Blast from a Selgor. Oh, there's Girder as well. Girder could be a potentially okay answer just because you would heal up so much as you Drain Punch this, and you actually get to match its curse boosts with bulk up boosts. Because you don't care about Darkest Lariat, you're super bulky with a Violite, you resist it. And I don't think Darkest Lariat ignores the Violite boosts. I might be wrong, but I believe it's only stat boosts. Like, stat raises in terms of, like, you know, moves that are raising it, not items. Would Hitmontop be viable? I don't think so. I feel like you still use other fighting types and you don't rely on this dog shit little mon. If anything, you'd use Hitmontop, like, for other reasons, anyhow. Poliwrath, I guess, as well, could KO Snorlax. Maybe see more bulk up Poliwrath. I mean, it has Drain Punch now. There's that. Yo, I have a team with bulk up Poliwrath, and it's definitely got some, like, old sets on it. It's kind of fun. Honestly, I could see a case for Snorlax not being broken in the tier, but I could also see a very easy counterpoint of, you are mandated to run a fighting type. Now that is not healthy at all. Please get rid of this. This is definitely one of the more, like, drops that I'm very interested about, because I think a lot of the other ones you could pretty easily just say where its place would be. The Snorlax is just kind of like, huh, just how strong would it be? Are you really mandated to run steals though? I don't know about that. If you're like petrified of Duraludon, then yeah, you're forced to run a steal, I guess, because there's really not a special wall that checks Duraludon. Mostly because if you don't resist Draco, you're taking 12 million. But I think you can run teams that don't have a steel type that still check fairy types. Watching like Snake, there's been a lot more bulky Rapidash getting used recently. I think I went over this in that one video where I just said interesting trends. So this is the set. You can run Flame Body if you want to fish for random burns versus like Ninjask. And then you do this. You check Ninetales as well, so that's fun. But like, this plus a poison type I think is also a valid way to handle the fairies. That's the only reason I don't think you're mandated to run a steel right now. There's also Ninetales, but obviously you don't get to recover. Who else do we have? Oh, Colossal, so that's a really interesting one too. And when I say really interesting, I mean it probably would be pretty awful. But at least it's another spinner, you know? I mean, honestly, I think the big thing that'd be cool about Colossal is that it's a spinner that resists Fairy and has Flame Body. So like, think about it, right? And you resist flying. So all those stupid U-turn fast Pokemon, Rabombi, Ninjask, Whimsicott, they don't damage you, and you can burn them as they try to pivot out. That is true if you wanted to run Steam Engine. I don't know, I don't think I'd run Steam Engine. I feel like Flame Body is just so hard to pass up on. I mean, how bulky are you? Oh, I don't like this little guy here. Oh, this is really bulky too, yo. Yo, we found the savior. Wait, this mod actually probably be not too bad. I don't know. I think the main thing about Cole is just because we don't have good spinners down here right now. Like, I'm not willing to call any of the rapid spinners that Inu has good. DS Inu rapid spin. Okay, it's Alolan Sandslash. That's like the only one I'm willing to call good. I think Avalugg and Hitmontop are just unviable, and I think Eldegoss is not very good. Yeah, honestly, I haven't seen much Colossal, so I didn't know that its stats are actually pretty okay, at least for defensive purposes. Yeah, I think this could be a pretty good Mon. Unfortunately, it doesn't check Ninetales because of Scorching Sands. Maybe you take a hit from full. If it's not boosted, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I think this would be cool for Flame Body to punish all those U-turn Mons that can't hit it. You know, instead of letting, especially Ninjask, right? That's the big one. Getting a bird on Rabombi or Whimsicott isn't the biggest win in the world. It's helpful because, you know, an extra 6% chip every turn. Making it so Ninjask just doesn't do damage and isn't that late game threat, at least not to the same extent, is really cool. And I would love that. I would absolutely adore that. And so you also get, it's also like Alolan Sandslash, in the sense that, you know, it gets rocks, it gets spikes, it gets spin. That's a lot. I think you'd be able to like suit it to teams' needs pretty decently. Because I kind of like with Alolan Sandslash how you can, you know, run, you can make it just a rock or just a spike or just a spinner. If you really want to do, you know, spin plus another, spin plus a hazard, you can. It gets a whole bunch of moves like knock, toxic. That one's actually really cool. I'm not convinced it's like super amazing, but I think it's cool. I think Colossal could be not too bad. Seems like it'd have a pretty solid spot. Also resists ice, so shit, you still check Frostmoth. Let's see, when do we get this? Oh, we're not even close to Silvally Fairy yet, don't worry. We got a whole bunch of mons in B minus. So Claydol, dude, Claydol's like just a less cool Colossal, honestly. Wait, you actually just chew that hit up so easily. That's really depressing. Ninetales, you suck. Yo, I always forget how weak Ninetales is. Like, that mon just doesn't do damage. It's got, what, base 80 something special attack? Yeah, that's... oh yes, 81. Oof. Okay, yeah, that is just really saddening. Yeah, we're just gonna ignore the fact that we could get Claydol. It's immune to ground, and it's another spinner. That's really all I can take from its potential to drop. Hey, it would check Mudstill. It's a CB Mudstill check. With Port, you're not wrong. I guarantee you that I would at least make one Claydol team, and then I would claim it to be incredibly viable and a very good Pokemon for at least a day. Even if I didn't mean it, I would say it just to annoy people. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what Claydol would be checking beyond, like, Mudsdale. As honestly, its typing is just... oof. At least you resist fighting, I guess. You're immune to electric, I guess. Yeah, I'm not saying you check Gallade. That mon is going to hit you twice and you'll be gone without doing anything back to it. Druddigon's a really interesting Pokemon. Let's look at, like, actually cool things we could get. And obviously, as we climb up in the VR, these things, in my eyes at least, are a lot less likely to drop, because they're perceived as more viable. This is a very interesting option. One that I would really like to have back, just because last gen it was so fun. Yeah, there are several sets that I think we'd probably see. Because obviously there's offensive, you're gonna see. A better snake. We already have a better snake, it's the horse. As you get those defensive sets. Although I do wonder exactly... what are you getting chip on this gen? Yo, Scale Shot offensive sounds fun. The only issue with, like, defensive Drud is I just don't know what it checks. I mean, it would always check water types, so that's good. We don't really have U-turners right now. At least not common ones. Ninetales, yeah, you're right there. Fire types it actually would just provide a huge answer to. Honestly, I think you'd probably see, like, Spadef Druddigon with lefties instead of Helmet with physical defense. Because I don't see a lot of physical attackers that you're super reliable at answering. It also checks Clawitzer, kind of. You gotta avoid the Ice Beam, but still an answer. Check offensive Jellicent as well, which isn't a super common pick. But I think it's at least semi-relevant. You check Rotom, and we're starting to see more Rotom as of late, so that's good. Yeah, Druddigon's Special Bulk is not horrible. Then now, obviously, we have to demonstrate the true fun set, and that is offensive. And then I'll put Gunk Shot because it's bigger damage. We want big damage. So this is the for fun set. We are running offensive Druddigons. Scale Shot. Ah yes, Scale Shot over Outrage, you're right. That way we can then become fast. I really want Druddigon, man. And Druddigon's also just really nice. Because right now, Inu's only real rocker that's getting used is Mudsdale, if we're being honest. Miltank still exists. But I think, as people realize that Sneasel isn't as good as it once was thought to be, we started seeing a lot less Miltank to check it. And people realized there were other ways of, like, checking, say, Ninetales. And it's really just Mudsdale spam at this point, from what I've seen. Yeah, I still like Miltank as well. It's just... I don't think it's as justifiable anymore. I still think it's a very good pick. I think it's easier to say, nah, I'm good. It also helps, in terms of, like, trying to do a Sneasel, that we see a lot of people running Fairy type plus Choice Scarf Gallade right now. Which means that Sneasel isn't really going to be having the best of times against most teams anyway. Even like Scarf Sock plus Fairy type I think is at least relevant. Now I don't know why you would use Sock over Gallade, but I guess it's there. I really just would like Druddigon to offer another way to build out defensive cores while offering Stealth Rock. Because I feel teams are At risk of becoming really linear right now. I think there are some very formulaic builds you can run. Oh, this also checks Decidueye in case you still thought that was a Pokemon, so that's always good. Yeah, Loki, I think Decidueye is unviable, but we'll talk about that another day. Y'all aren't ready for that one. Oh, Braviary's next. Now, I think Braviary would be a really fun drop too. Mostly because I got close combat. The set that I think I've seen most people talk about is Bulk Up. I don't even know if that's a hot take. I think it's a pretty reasonable one. 1000% though, this set right here, offensive Bulk Up, sounds really fun. Probably still could run sub Bulk Up as well. I do think Braviary, just looking at what we currently have though, would have enough checks to still be fine. Where did Braviary peak last gen? And that was when we had Steelix. I think it peaked around A rank? I don't think it ever got to A+. Yeah, you still have all the electric types, which, you know, they at least take the Brave Bird, and most of them outspeed Braviary. And then you got Rotom, which just says hello. Please, use a move versus me. The only thing about Braviary really just is that its coverage between fuck. That was hard to say. Flying and fighting? It's pretty good. And so, defensively, there's not a whole lot that answers it unless you're just, like, really bulky. So, like, Mudsdale, Weezing. These are Pokemon that can at least take, like, a couple hits from it despite not resisting Brave Bird. I honestly don't know what other sets would be used beyond, like, maybe, again, sub-bulk up. Well, I feel like sub-bulk up's viability is usually predicated on Braviary also functioning as a good check to something in the tier. Scarf. I mean, yeah. I don't know how viable it'd be, but I think it probably would be an option. You know, the tier definitely needs more Scarfers. I feel like right now, most of the time, people are just saying, okay, let me run multiple just very fast Pokemon. There aren't very many Scarfers actually, like, have come to mind. Yeah, that sounds about right with where Braviary ended. I think at one point it was a lot higher, though. And people were like, oh wait, this isn't as good as we thought it was. I mean, if we ever get Steelix back, then Braviary I think for sure wouldn't be enough of a problem to ever, like, you know, worry about in any serious manner. But that implies Ari wants to give us Steelix at any point in this generation. Oh. I guess we could look at the last B- Pokemon. So there's Blastoise. This is a Pokemon that I know some people think might be overpowered if we get, just because it has Shell Smash now. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, the thing about Blastoise is that there are defensive answers to it. Like, you could run the meme Terrain Pulse stuff, I guess. I feel like Blastoise would just replace Clawitzer on those teams. But most defensive water types, I think, can handle it to some degree. How fast is this at +2? So if you are, like, max speed timid... So I would hit 560. Now you gotta run Toxic over Yon. I'm not trying to be walled by a fucking Jellicent, bro. I'm really not. I do think that, those spin sets would be fun, especially because we do have Flip Turn now. Blastoise being able to actually keep up momentum now instead of just coming in hoping to burn something with Scald and then having to hard switch out is really cool. Again, the main issue I think Blastoise would have just is that Jellicent exists, and there will be that competition. I think the main thing would be that because Blastoise is a spinner and can pivot, it might just usurp Jellicent's position. I don't know for sure. Also, here's the midstream reminder that if you have not subscribed yet, I don't know what the hell you're doing with your time, but please, do it for the children. Do it for me. Anyhow, yeah, Blastoise is a very interesting mon to think about. I've also considered the possibility on Shell Smash that physical sets could be really good. But I don't know how true that is, because they're a lot easier to wall. They probably would have some place, but I think special would probably just end up being better. Also probably try out like some Liquidation, Earthquake, Ice Punch, Shell Smash set. Oh boy, now we get into the B rank, and I probably won't go up any higher than this. But I do know some Pokemon in here are not looked upon in the brightest of lights. So, Escavalier, we all remember what happened last month, right? Missing the drop point by like 0.002%. I have heard rumblings that Escavalier is not actually as good in UU as they originally thought. So despite them losing like despite them losing Skarmory and then banning Jirachi, this might not actually rise to UU. And I've also heard that it is still not good in RU. So will we get Escavalier? I don't know. I do know that it would be like a complete savior for the tier. I also don't know if it would be like just straight up broken, because this mon's stats are cracked beyond cracked. I mean, look at this. Strong. Strength. Big number. Big number good. But big number also scary. It's also just really bulky. I think I'm gonna Steel type that can actually hold leftovers and check the like specs fairy types. I think that would be really nice to have, because this Pokemon would just be a lot harder to wear down. I feel like maybe you could see some of those like SD plus Protect sets, as they help this thing stay healthy. Yeah, all the fairies here just kind of get hard walled by it. Like, they literally can't do anything. I almost wonder, would you see Switcheroo start appearing on Rabombi more? Like, would you see Specs with Switcheroo more? Would you see Whimsicott dropping U-turn for Switcheroo? Just so they could at least do something about Escavalier. I think just a possibility. I also wonder if we'd see any, like, just choice band Escavaliers, so we could just see people, like, Mega Horning and CCing their way through teams. I'm pretty sure Charizard's also, like, not the best anymore in RU, but I think I've heard rumblings that Sun's not the worst archetype ever. Honestly, getting another, like, fire type would be really good. Be it, like, so here's this guy, and here's this guy. I mean, again, both of these just wall the fairy types. And so if one of them did drop, it'd be really cool. I know Arcanine can do, like, funny teleport set stuff, which would be unironically really funny to mess with. I think I'm only gonna talk about, like, 3 more Pokemon, because honestly I don't think anything beyond this has a chance of dropping. There's still Valley Fairy. I don't know how good it is in RU anymore. I've heard it's not amazing, but it's still, like, okay. I think this would be cool. I don't think we have a physical fairy type in the tier. I think they're all special, right? Yeah, so they're all special. So having a physical attacking fairy type could be really interesting. Yeah, they really don't. You've got, like, Galarian Rapidash and Valley Fairy, and that's, like, it. I guess, like, some of the Tapus as well. True Azumarill as well, and Slurpuff. I think the problem is we just don't have any of the physical fairies because they're all really good. I'm not using a Marill. I refuse. Yeah, I've heard Tapu Koko. No, it's not that I've heard. Yeah, I've seen Tapu Koko's getting player up, so maybe we'll see more physical sets now, like Wild Charge, CC. That could be pretty interesting. I also think a Vileplume dropping would spell doom for the NU tier. But I really want it back. Like, just consider the following. Vileplume resists Fairy. Why can't we have Vileplume back? I mean, come on. Roselia would be ruined. That's exactly why I want it to drop, though, you know? It also gives another Kingler check. And I don't know how people really feel about Kingler. But I mean, if you're that worried about it, here's a check to it. I'm pretty sure it can take Psychics, like, somewhat okay. I mean, at the end of the day, you're really just trying to at least, like, switch into the Moonblasts. You wanted, and also dissuade the use of Moonblast. It's a big thing that, like, running Pokemon like Rapidash, Weezing, Garbodor do when you're running into those Rabombies and Whimsies. You're just dissuading them from using their, you know, strong stab attacks. And at the very least, you're making it so they don't wall break as hard. And everyone already knows, we're going back to this, you know, the great growth of Vileplume if this ever comes back. What else does it do? It's a Rotom check if you care about that Pokemon at all. Oh, having a Grass Poison's also nice because the annoying toxic spamming water types look at this and they get very depressed very quickly. And I think that the tier Snorlax a great way to punish like things like Toxic Wishy-Washy, Toxic Jellicent. Yep, nope, Roselia is not a great way of punishing those. Absolutely not. So Wild just kind of gets to come in versus those. Set up growth or, you know, attack. Try to fish for Sludge Bomb Poison. Strength Sap when it needs health back, you know. It's a great way to just look at Girder and say, no, you are not making progress versus my team. And of course, we cannot forget the great ability of this Effect Spore. I remember this unironically being a huge reason that people complained about Vileplume last gen, as they got upset about people fishing for paras off of U-turns. Oh, that was kind of funny. That's at the end of the day, man, come on. Just don't get paralyzed. Or slept. Or poisoned. If you're just the better player, come on now. Can we unban Drought? No, we cannot unban Drought. Why would you ask that? No. How dare you? Yeah, I've heard that Vaporeon, like, could it drop eventually? But I don't know, I feel like it still is a very far-fetched one. But if Vaporeon were to drop, it would be very good. Because right now, NU doesn't have a great Wish Passer. There's like Aromatisse, which is sort of fringe viable. Togedemaru, which is sort of fringe viable. Clefairy, which doesn't really run Wish very frequently. And so Vaporeon would at least... It would be very good. It also has the, you know, the broken flip turn. This little flip turner. What all would Vapo check in this tier? I really don't know at the moment. At least we stopped Ninetales from being relevant. I feel like Vaporeon probably takes 2+2 energy balls from Ninetales without even investing in special bulk. Just get that HP up. Hey, nice 464, not bad. Nice Scald. That's triple axe on him. Nice Scald. Nice Wish. Nice Flip Turn. Nice Protect. Look at his beautiful set. What's there to hate about this? What's there to hate about a burn spreading, wish passing, flip turning Vaporeon? The rise of Jolteon? I don't think we need to resort to Jolteon to KO a Vaporeon. I really don't think we do. I have this strange feeling that we have other options that are a little bit more viable. You know, call me crazy. Maybe we don't. I'm interested to see if we get anything else that's like not super likely. Because again, we got Sigilif last month, and that, you know, is currently getting suspect tested in RU. So at the end of the day, anything could drop. Even, you know, we could get something that's high ranked on their VR. We could also just not get many of the low ranking Pokemon. This is all just guesswork, but I do think it's kind of fun to theory model a little bit about what we could and could not get. Bro, if Passimian came back, I would be so happy. Give me back my Fruit Monkey. I would also campaign incredibly hard against anyone that attempted to get my sweet summer child banned. I would not allow it. I wouldn't even be broken, bro. Just don't get CC'd. We got checks. We got fairy types. We got Kofa. We got Weezing. We got Garbodor. We'd be fine. We even got the horse. Yeah, we'd be... Man, we'd be fine. I don't think that's gonna be it for this stream, though. I covered about what I wanted to, and honestly, my throat is dying. Oh, it has been pain. Speaking too much equates to suffering. I do hope that y'all had a lovely little time as you owe me uwu one game. Later. Next stream, I'll get you your game with sand, don't worry. Got you. Yeah, it'll be very exciting to see what we get tomorrow. I don't know when the shifts will be like announced, probably around midday Eastern time. We can see how many Pokemon we actually end up getting, because maybe we'll get a whole bunch, maybe we'll get absolutely nothing. Regardless, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. And until next time, well, I'll see you then. Peace.